Okay, friends, welcome to Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader Strings of Fate, Season 3, Episode 16, Dark Accords. Is Dave here?
No, he went. He said go get a drink, and he went and got a drink.
Oh my god.
I'm
sorry, I completely missed it. We're live, Dave. I'm out of it, guys. I'm totally out of it. It's been a week. It's been a real week, alright? If you haven't followed the Gran Turismo saga that I've been under, okay, Spoon, calm down, okay? That's all I'm asking for. Calm down.
I'm out. I've already done mine this month.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
If you followed me during the Gran Turismo saga and you're surprised that I'm not currently playing Gran Turismo, you should unfollow me right now, by the way, since this is the first stream I've done since then. I just want to say the unprofessionalism and scare tactics that I got from Polyphonic or whatever the fuck their name is, they can literally go fuck themselves. The shit was unreal how stupid it was. It hasn't ruined my love of the game, but it has ruined my love for the people who make it. All right.
Do you want to try and do a Gran Turismo TTRPG so we could combine for the people that did follow for GT? I
was just...
I apparently missed this.
We're back live again. All right, so
okay.
OBS has been crashing a lot lately. The last 3 upgrades have all been full of bugs and absolutely fucking worthless. Just in case you're wondering why I'm bitter permanently. All right, what's your issue, Pondo?
So what happened with Gran Turismo?
I got an Amazon copy. Amazon shipped some customers a week early. And I was like, great, I'm going to make a YouTube video and then stream this. And I've been streaming for 8 years. I've been very careful. I've never received a copyright strike for anything, and I got 2 in one day. I sent emails. I sent social media posts. I called the offices of their lawyers, Musso Limited, and they refused to talk to me in any way or indicate that they would remove the strikes when time was up. The Gran Turismo developers they patched the game so you couldn't record it anymore. After, like, within hours of me doing that, they patched it so you couldn't record it anymore. But that was only locally, like on the PS5. It didn't stop anybody with a capture card.
Do you have a capture card?
But they basically, I deleted all of my footage. Not that it was any good, because if you, again, have been following what I've been doing, it's been a fucking nightmare trying to capture footage for this game, because my Elgato support group will not provide me any knowledge of what's wrong with my Mark IV. So I'm gonna probably go back to using my HD 60 and try to stream in 720p 60 FPS like a peasant. Anyway,
I have a Mark IV too, and that thing has been
it's not working so well. I can't get
the regular HD Pro, the HD Pro.
It almost feels like. Do you have the internal one? The one
yes, that's the Mark IV.
Yeah, like it almost feels like it doesn't have enough power sometimes. Like,
which is odd.
All I'm saying is that
normally you'd have to take like USB power and plug it into like a device if it needs additional stuff.
Yes, that's why it's using a PCIe spot.
No, even PCIe stuff, you can still put more computer power, like electricity, into it if it needs additional stuff.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, they don't have any like ports for that externally on the thing. I don't know.
It doesn't appear to be utilizing my graphics card's encoding power is the thing.
My issue is that my Xbox is, if there's like a point in my house that is literally furthest from where my computer is, that is where my Xbox is right now. And between me and it is a child probably playing said Xbox. So it's pretty hard for me to actually capture footage from my Xbox.
Minecraft, Roblox,
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, almost everything you can do on an Xbox, you can do on a PC nowadays.
I know. That's why I literally got a Xbox controller for the PC, so I can play my games on here now. There you go. Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to spend 7 minutes talking about the Gran Turismo saga. I was just trying to bypass it, so here we go. We're going to keep bypassing it.
I'll just say one thing before anything else. Arthur, dealing with any game that dealing with copyright infringement, like they just have a.
And they're holding all the cards. They can do whatever they want and say whatever
exactly.
they want.
And even on Twitch's end, like Twitch has no obligation to support you.
Yeah.
As a creator.
They made that clear.
If for whatever reason they decide that we're going to copyright strike you, so unless like I had this problem when Persona 5 released. Do you remember when they had all of that?
My
Atlas
God, they said you could only stream certain in-game days
up to a certain point, right? Do you remember that?
I just told you about it.
Yeah.
I remember it. It was dumb as shit. Yeah.
And
but the thing is, they made that clear. They made a social media post and they let the public know about it.
yeah, but I thought it was fucking bullshit. So
It is bullshit. Stupid
I
fuck.
just played past it, and nothing ever came of it, right? Because they must have realized it was just absolute fucking bullshit to try and enforce that shit. But the idea that you can stream something early, like this happens all the time on Twitch, and I'm not sure why. You got so like you probably weren't the only one doing it too, right?
I was the only person streaming Gran Turismo 7 that day. Only a couple hundred copies got released, and out of that, how many of those people do you think are streamers?
Wow, I didn't realize it was that small. All right, so that
Listen,
now I
it was
understand why
hilarious.
you got the full force. So,
When I went into the first multiplayer race at like 7 or 8 a.m. on the first day of real release, I'd souped up my multiplayer car. So it was like you have to be above a certain weight and below 147 horsepower. And I janked the car to be exactly that. And I won the qualifying race. So I started in first place and I just stayed there the whole race. And I see these really skillful people like sliding across the racetrack, looking beautiful, making these perfect turns. And I'm just like, I'm like 10 miles an hour faster than you, dude. Like there's... I could stop for 10 seconds and you still aren't going to catch me. This is unfair to you. I'm so sorry.
yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say to that is like were you aware ahead of time that you were breaking street date?
No. I mean, I knew I'd gotten it early while I was recording the video. Someone had like said that to me.
Oh, so you were already streaming when someone told you about that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, at that point, the damage is done because
the damage is done. What else is going on? I don't know. We've got something rotten in Kislev. Warhammer 3 campaign is releasing regularly. We also started the community Warhammer game, which
how'd you go?
It's mostly like we're playing speed chess, taking out NPCs. Pondo and I have formed a strong military alliance where we're back to back in the Ogre Mountains.
So who's what? Like who's what factions?
I am. Go ahead.
I'm playing Ogre Kingdoms as Goldtooth, Grease's Goldtooth.
I'm playing as Boris Ursus in the Chaos Wastes. No, sorry, it's just a regular waste, not the Chaos Wastes.
Yep. Holmes is playing Khorne. Gut is playing one of the Cathaway.
He's playing
Cathaway.
Southern Cathay, not Northern.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trade agreements going on, and then Holmes is sitting in a corner going, "Oh, so that's where you guys are located. Okay. Oh, a new cult base." So at first I thought there was no chance Holmes would ever get near us, but I forgot that when Khorne sets up a cult base, they can create a faction structure that instantly teleports the faction leader and their army there, which means Holmes could show up in any of our cities at any point with an instant 20 stack fight, which is why I'm making all of my capitals have a max level defensive structure. Not just because I fear that Pondo's gonna come out of the mountains one day like Attack on Titan doing a rumbling, but because I fear that Scarbrand may show up in my backyard at any moment and just be like, "Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Scarbrand."
So in my single player campaign, playing as Kislev, I've like crushed all enemy forces in my immediate area, like pacified my entire area, and just have left Constantine's group, and because he's ahead of me in the number of supporters list. Mm-hmm. So I like have all my I spent a while getting all my armies built up ready to attack his cities, and save the game. Okay, load it up, ready to go. Go take a city. Oh, you can't declare war on this faction in the campaign.
Correct.
Yeah.
Why would you? You should be able to overtake him and supporters, especially if you use money to lower his support.
Yeah, I guess that's what you have to do to try and confederate him.
Yeah,
you really only need to do it once or twice. You should be building like. So I found that the best strategy is that in each of the smaller cities, you build the hollowed tree, which will give you supporter and devotion, and will boost your farms. A farm and a church, and the combination of those three will put you way ahead and allow you to invoke constantly.
Yeah, you have to spam it,
and it'll because each farm and each hollowed wood supports each other. If you've got like one of the oblasts with 4 cities, you'll come out way ahead of making like inns and roadhouses in terms of money because those farms will just end up being juiced. All right.
Yeah.
Make trade deals with everybody. I mean, you're Kislev. You should have the military power to force trade deals on everyone around you.
Yeah. I did also start a Slanesh campaign as well, just to see what it was like.
I hope you like going fast. That seems to be what their army is good at, is leaping forward at high speed.
Yeah, and no range to speak of, which is like one of my favorite bits of the game.
Daemons kind of have that problem. I mean, I've only played Khorne,
Tzeentch is all range pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, flamethrowers of Tzeentch though are
the
ridiculous.
flamers. Yeah, they're awful.
It's really obscene.
I've noticed this weird thing where my units stop attacking the Tzeentch units, and it's bizarre.
Yeah, there are definitely some bugs.
Yeah, there are pathing and AI issues, definitely.
All right, OBS looks like it's getting ready to crash again, so if it does, just know we'll be back shortly.
Yep.
It's doing a real thing tonight. You know, speaking of someone who likes Tzeentch, let's go ahead and talk to Secret Tzeentch player, Big Spoon.
First of all, how dare you? I hate Tzeentch. They're kicking my ass in our.
That sounds like a Tzeentch player would say.
I mean, you're not wrong there, though. Let's see.
This is one of those things where he's like the chief Tzeentch investigator, but actually,
yeah,
he's a triple agent.
So speaking of that, I ran my BattleTech home game last night, and in Oath of Indosteel fashion, the players have voted the Crime Lord to be the special investigator. So that was very interesting that they chose to do that.
It's classic, though, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone will sit there and tell you need a thief to catch a thief, right?
Yeah. Well, like
they're wrong, but you know.
Yeah. When they went to talk to him, he was like, he straight up told them, he's like, listen, I have friends on the wrong side of the law. Like, I can use this special investigator office to lean on them, like to figure out what happened. And they're like, oh, okay, great. Fantastic. So,
well, I mean, Bassett Bastion is on tomorrow. So, you know,
yeah.
And a new episode, I think we're going to be meeting.
Very nice.
It'll be the last one for a while. So we better wrap this chapter up or people are going to be blue balled for an age of Middle Earth.
Yeah, man. It's mid battle, right? To take out Sebastian Bassett, the true big bad evil guy from season 1 since the beginning.
Listen, there's a lot of campaigns where I'm like the players are the real bad guys all along, but I genuinely feel Lachlan will end up as the actual bad guy in this campaign.
Oh man,
he's intentionally positioning himself to do so, though, which is a very Sam move to do.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see what else did I do this week. Bought some more BattleTech minis. So, but other than that, I just worked, played Warhammer Total War 3. My Demons of Chaos campaign is going great. My leader got killed, and I'm surrounded by enemy armies. So it's going well.
Different definitions of good.
Yeah. No, it's just like I ended up fight. So I actually ended up fighting Scarbrand, and he and the Demon Prince like killed each other during the battle, basically. and I ended up beating the army, but now I've got like Constantin's running in around with like 220 stacks.
You guys know his name's Castalton, right? You've both gotten this wrong.
Sorry. Yeah, whatever.
He even says his name himself. If you accidentally go over him on the world map,
okay,
Castalton. Yeah, he is Rasputin for sure. He got that crazy eye look.
Yeah. So he's running around with like 2 armies. The Laura Lauren elves have brought an army up, which I thought was weird.
Fucking elf.
Yeah. So, and then I'm fighting the Exiles of Khorne right now. So it's going pretty well.
You know, when I was Exiles of Khorne, I stayed to my lane. I just conquered all the other Daemon factions. I never went anywhere in the south. Men had no reason to fear my wrath. All I wanted is that the blood. And as we know,
it doesn't matter where it comes from. I did. So when you were talking about your multiplayer race, one of the things I thought of is like the people who get the games early that have like a worldwide leaderboard, and they get them early and they post a score, so it puts them as number 1, and then they take a screenshot of them as number 1 on the leaderboard. Yeah. I was like, that's AP right now.
Yeah. When Shogun 2 multiplayer was released, I was rank 99 world for the first 2 weeks using Terror Generals. Then they patched it so that Terror wasn't so powerful, and I slipped from, top 100, but it was okay. It was nice being feared for a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it for me.
The whole leaderboard top 100 was all Terror General. Not a single person was like, yeah, I'm cavalry.
Yeah. I use spearmen a lot, with
I mean, it's Shogun too, so using spearmen a lot is pretty much your only choice.
Yeah.
Speaking of someone who likes spearmen, let's talk the Pawn of the Men.
They're okay, but yeah.
No, they're not okay. Listen, I want to tell you a story about a Total War, all right? The one that's set in...
I love the segue, then Arthur goes back to his...
I know. No. I'm telling you a story about spears. The one that's set in the fall of the Roman Empire. If you play as the Acheric Middle Easts, right?
Are you talking about Attila? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Attila. You can recruit spearmen from Armenia who are unique, and they shout Armenian spears whenever you order them to do anything. And the thing is, their shout has priority over every other unit. So if you have Armenian spearmen in your unit, you're just gonna hear nothing but Armenian spears really dramatically as they run towards the enemy. Please continue your intro.
But but I've been playing as much as Total War as I can, the Warhammer. Playing Kislev. I've got a lot of I'm almost done with the supporter thing. I've got like a less than 200 to go to get that done and out of the way.
Winning is punishing. Just be aware that you should be ready to absorb a negative 6,000 income.
Yeah, the other issue I'm running into is I've got Nurgle coming up in my side door, and I just got hit with the gates opening up, which I've been super behind and actually trying to do.
You gotta field agents to knock those things out. I just park an agent at each one and close it on the turn it opens.
So can you do that with the heroes or?
Yep.
Or...
Yeah, it costs 1,500 gold, but yeah.
I don't really have that much.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
It's Warhammer 3.
Oh, Chaos Gates like in Oblivion, except Warhammer demon stuff. Yeah,
it's going to be crucial at multiplayer, man, because you can use those gates to travel to other gates.
Yeah, I didn't consider that being an option. I just had like a random guy with a bunch of the gunmen.
Oh, you fought
in
the
a
armies.
Stack.
Interesting.
Yeah. I didn't think the hero thing was an option. I should.
It's not that bad, but if you leave them, the armies that they spawn get continuously bigger and more aggressive. It's really bad.
Yeah, I know. I had an issue where I had a gate that I couldn't quite get to yet. and just filled my whole area with a bunch of corruption, causing problems. So I have like one town just completely, actually 2 towns completely surrounded by a bunch of chaos agents or cultists.
Send an Ice Witch out there, teched into assassinate, and just and rip through them. Assassinate and specialist, she'll just be like, yep, critical success.
Yeah, I might have to start investing in that as well.
Yeah, invest heavily in Ice Witches.
Mm-hmm. No, I hadn't much problem with that, but started the ogre stuff. I don't know exactly what I'm doing there, but I'm apparently doing good enough. I was like strength number 2 in the whole thing so far. I don't know who number 1 was. I got AP scared for no reason. I'm not sure why.
You marched your main army to my back door and stood there for 3 turns.
I was letting them replenish.
Yeah.
Which
There's no reason I would be afraid of something like that. I really am afraid. I have a fear of you attack on tightening me and just being coming down with like 4 stacks out of the mountains, just your ogres tripping over each other. Rumbling.
Like some sort of ogre lanch.
Yeah, something like that.
I like rumbling better, but sure. I'll give that one.
No, I think I'm going to be cleaning up a bunch of ogres here soon because I want some of their land.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Like
got anything
Confederate,
else?
but I don't think it's going to be an option. No, that's it for now. Yeah.
Dave, I don't have a segue for you. I'm sorry.
Well, your last one was garbage, so that's not even like.
Okay.
Yeah.
They can't all be bangers. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, hey.
No, that actually can't.
Yeah, exactly. This is the only attitude I have.
There is a so you know how Nintendo does Nintendo Directs or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you know, the adult video game developer community is kind of like in its infancy right now. Like it started.
I find that really incredibly hard to believe, given the existence of Leisure Shoot Larry. But go ahead.
That's not an adult game, my dude. So basically, like official channels for purchasing, and it's gained a lot more popularity like since 2018, I want to say roughly. So one of the things that we haven't had is like a way to do like a like the E3 of adult video games, right? So they've started doing that now. And we're preparing for that at the moment. So that should be an interesting thing to try and do, like because we've got like a bunch of products in development right now, and it's mostly just like trying to make sure that we put our best foot forward in terms of presentation and stuff. So it's going to be an interesting couple of days, to say the least. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been focusing on lately. Is mostly that.
Is it only virtual, or is it a face-to-face thing somewhere?
No, it's not face-to-face yet. Like I still think a lot of the world is still like not into conventions. Like they're starting to go physical, but like this is mostly like how E3 does like their like live stream where they have like, oh, that's a Sony presentation, and then Sony does like 40 minutes or whatever, and that's it. So that's the sort of thing that's happening here. It's mostly just like a bunch of developers are getting together to showcase their stuff in the same spot so it can draw an audience. Kind of like, we're starting it ourselves and hoping that it goes well. So that should be interesting. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring lately, or trying to. I get like an hour in every once in a while. What was that?
Do you like it? You enjoy it?
I mean, I like Dark Souls games in general. Like I've always liked those sorts of games. it's kind of strange because like the Dark Souls games to me were like very tight, and like it was kind of always like a corridor after corridor of just like tight intentional gameplay. And Elden Ring is like, they have like, okay, here's a big sort of open world area, and you just sort of like, in most Dark Souls games, like the first time you play it, you're not really skipping enemies, right? Like you just don't really do that unless, because, you know, you're learning the lay of the land. But in this one, in the open world one, it's like the mechanic is to ignore enemies and to ride around them and to use your horse to get to places and stuff like that. But then it like, okay, now you're inside of a castle, and it's like, oh shit, this is literally like how I remember Dark Souls being. Except now it's like a lot more modern. The game is very surprising, I would say. Like the aspect of Dark Souls that I really enjoyed was like the discovery. And this game has a lot of just like moments of like just pure unadulterated discovery, like endorphins pumping into your brain sort of thing. Like, you know, oh, what if I go check out that waterfall over there, and then something incredibly interesting is happening over there? Or, you know, you look at your map and you go, huh, that's a weird looking thing on the map there. I wonder if that's actually something. And it is. And I don't know, it's just so incredibly surprising what they do with it. But the moment to moment stuff, I'm not enjoying the open world stuff as much as I would have thought I would. Like I prefer like the tight corridor stuff, but you know, they have like small sections of that every once in a while, so it's not so bad. But it's definitely fun to see the entire, like, because the best time that you can ever play a Dark Souls game is when no one knows anything about the game. So, you know, you don't like, it's definitely one of those moments, because I have friends that are playing it right now. We literally got this big chat going, and it's like, oh shit, I just found this weird thing over here. And it's like, what? Where'd you find that? And it's like, you know, there's actually like that schoolyard element to it, which is like people like discovering things together as a community or whatever.
Yeah, and there's not like you can't just go look up a guide on how to.
No,
get through
they
something.
don't exist. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I watched a guide of how a dude found a magic sword, and he was like, yeah, so this is incredibly complicated in how you do it, because you have to like do all of these things in order to get it to happen. And these things in order are like, oh, this NPC shows up, but only if you've done this previously. And that NPC tells you vaguely about a quest. And it's not like the quest goes into your quest log. It's like literally it's like, oh, you know, over at dawn in this castle, there's a dude that's like, that is supposedly supposed to show up. Anyway, bye. And then like you could just completely forget about that, right? Because it's not written anywhere. You're not given anything to do that. And if you don't do it at the exact time or do it correctly, you fail the mission. Then, you know, 60-hour gameplay, you'll never get that fucking magical sword, right? So the game is like not afraid to just be like, oh yeah, nah, fuck you. So there's actually like a huge amount of people online crying for, I guess, accessibility in the game, which is like it's a weird term, because like as a developer, you build for accessibility because you want to try and get as many people playing as you can get. But this is the exact opposite of it. They're just like, yeah, there's no difficulty options, so you know, if you can't beat a boss, fucking tough shit, you know, you don't get to see the rest of the game. And then there's also things like, you know, people are like, oh, I don't know where I'm going, or I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And it's like, yeah, I know. No one else does either. So
I'm gonna be honest with you, Dave. You know, I don't like Dark Souls style games. I couldn't even like it when they did Final Fantasy. But
sure,
as much as people are complaining about this game, it's still the highest reviewed game release ever.
Yeah.
And it's gotten so bad that the Horizon Forbidden West developers got together to complain about Elden Ring. They were like, oh yeah, imagine not having UX design. And I was like, ooh, somebody's mad. You just got knocked off the front page. Holy shit, dudes, calm down.
Well, I mean, this is the third time that they've released a game next to a fucking enormous release, right?
Bad timing.
What's wrong with them? They're just like, anyway, it's really refreshing because there's no hand holding whatsoever in there. So, but the good thing about this game, and this is what a lot of people who play Dark, a lot of people don't understand about Dark Souls products is like, it's only as difficult as you want it to be, because if you want it to be easy, you just over level yourself. Like, that's all you need to do. And the Dark Souls games are incredibly deliberate. So when you fight a boss, you can go as slow as you want, right? And that's how you beat the game. You don't, the way that you lose the game is by getting greedy and trying to get in extra hits or trying to rush through things or whatever, right? So
what's fun is getting lost and then getting over level by accident.
Yeah.
I did that in Bloodborne because I didn't figure out that you had to jump into the water, into the moon, essentially, to get to the one boss.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's exactly the thing. And then, like, you come back and it's like, oh, yeah. Feels good. Feels good to kick some butt, you know? Like,
yeah,
and they added jumping, man. Holy crap.
Oh, is there jumping? That's mind blowing.
They have a button for it.
Not
Jumping
some
and
weird
stealth,
combination.
It's not a weird combination. No, it's like, so the thing is, jumping has drastically changed the way that game plays. Like, because normally in Dark Souls you have to like run and click the same run button twice in order to jump across things, and it's only ever been used for like, aha, there's an item over here and you need to jump, but most items you don't need to. So it's like a hidden extra thing. But in this one, it's like so tightly ingrained into the actual game that it's like, yeah, enemies will like do a lot of sweeping attacks and stuff like that. And most people who play the game is just like, oh, I got a parry roll or whatever. No, you can just jump over it, you know. You want to get over a wall? Yeah, fuck it, man. Just jump over it. Like, there's a lot of instances of people like being like, man, this swamp is really annoying because I'm always constantly getting poisoned. It's just like, well, why don't you just jump up on one of the things? And it's like, oh yeah, shit, you can jump in this game. It's just, it's a very interesting product, and just in time, like, because it's one of those games that like, as a developer, you kind of need to play it and see why it's so good and try and understand that, even if you're not very good at the game like I am. I don't know. It's fun. Crafting is completely useless though, but you know.
Fancy a hand of Gwent?
No. You couldn't go an entire stream without mentioning that nod, huh?
What can I say? It's fucking classic, dude. It has outlived the game.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, you got anything else?
Not really. I mean, in terms of like updates, I guess, like, you know, we've still got our neighbor having problems and all that stuff, but just trying to get on with it, I guess. I don't know.
You know,
have a couple of friends who can't get out now because they're like within the age range of 18 to 60. So, you know.
Yes, 18 to 60, the age range of the super majority of people who are living.
Yeah, and also happen to be male and can't leave the country because that's the deemed suitable fighting age. So, you know, that stuff.
You know, speaking of someone who I wouldn't want to fight, Dark James.
I mean, I suppose I'm not going to say you should want to fight me. Don't talk me up.
I see Arthur as a biter, to be honest with you. Like, he's the type of guy that will bite you. Like, that's what I'm thinking.
I have no idea what I've done to give you that impression.
He just seemed like a biter, you know?
It's those strong jaw muscles. I think it's probably what he. Yeah. What I've been up to. I mean, it's been, had some natural disasters here this week. Been lots of flooding, including in my area of Sydney. So there's been, streets near me have been evacuated. Once again, my garage flooded. Thankfully, this time I had enough pre-warning to get everything off the floor, so nothing was damaged or destroyed. But it's still less convenient, suboptimal, I would say, is to have my garage flooded.
Is it like tides or is it like rain?
It's rain. It's rain. Yeah. So I live pretty far. I live like 40 miles from the coast. So I mean, I suppose river tides, but so Australia or Sydney's water supply is fed by something called Warragamba Dam, which has blown it's gone over the top of the dam in the last few days. So that then creates huge flooding issues downstream from the dam as well. Mm-hmm. So something like 1 million Sydney tides have been displaced over the past week or so. But it seems to be on the improvement now. But it's all part of El Nino. Other than that, the Eldar stuff all came out yesterday. So I got my new Eldar Codex, got a whole bunch of Eldar models. So now that I'm like 1 or 2 videos away from finishing my Space Wolf series and putting that whole army into the cupboard as a fun experiment that's now over. So I'm now starting to work up the Eldar stuff. So like already building models and getting ready for painting as well. So that'll be my next big project. Played some Warhammer 3 as well. Played some more model builder. So while I'm not building actual models, I'm doing virtual models. Thanks to Eric for posting that one onto Arthur's chat as well. And of course, Old Republic. Ran my Strahd game this week as well on Monday. So it's one thing that I've been enjoying running horror again. It's been great to do that. Although I was pretty tired at that game, so I think towards the end I was almost falling asleep while running. So the quality of the game may have petered off towards the end. But yeah, that's probably about it for me. Nothing else exciting. Like it's too wet to go outside. I mean, my work situation's obviously still pretty fluid right now, having my company been acquired and going through all the stuff for that. A lot of people that worried about the outcome have resigned. So it's either trying to convince them to stay or try and find replacements and work out how that's going to go with the conversion to the new business. But it's a fun corporate life. And when I say fun, I don't mean fun at all. That's all I got.
Okay.
Yeah. You gonna clip it? Although, can you clip it with OBS being a bitch right now or not?
I'm just gonna. I put down what the time is, and then I'll add it to the length of the first video, and it should correctly. But if it doesn't, it's somebody else's problem. People who skip intros can.
You should do like a big visual gesticulation like this or something, so you can easily find the spot in the video when you need to go.
James, you don't know about the. And that's going to show up as a massive waveform on the audio, and then you just look for that. Yeah. You don't know about the podcaster clap, man. When
I used to record a podcast with my co-hosts being in different locations, we used to try and both clap at the same time to sync the audios up. But
podcaster clap, exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
I learned this one from Eric Vulgaris personally. He tutored me on an Italian mountaintop while we were both on a monk retreat.
I'm surprised people need to be taught that
the secret technique.
Easy.
Got to do the
hardly secret.
The 1, 2, 3 sync.
It's mostly just to sync up video and audio, though.
Don't talk to me about syncing video and audio. Okay, Gran Turismo. No, let's go ahead. James, walk us in.
Back in the day when you used to do podcasts over Skype, that shit was. You try.
Can you hear me?
That shit
Hello?
Was you have to make sure everyone's recording this stuff locally.
Yeah.
So that you don't get microphone dedication and.
Yeah, that's why I started getting my co-host to come to my house to do episodes, because I got sick of trying to piece together 2 audio channels. All right. Previously on Rogue Trader Strands of Fate. On Regina 4, the group goes to meet with Asmodeus Fradal, the captured explorator fleet captain. Androchiron exerts his will over the captured tech priest, revealing that the explorator fleet has detected the use of the constructor by the colony, and Fradal was sent to investigate. Shortly after the interrogation, a small group of explorator fleet vessels comprising 2 cruisers and their frigate escorts arrive on the outer edge of the system. Pierre Cowles is contacted by Ulmir Irvain of the explorator fleet, who claims to have worked with his mother in the past. Meeting with Irvain, it does appear that some agreement can be reached with the explorator fleet that will not dissolve into conflict. The group awaits the response from Irvain's master. Thought for the day: against the alien and the traitor, there is no fair way to fight. You okay there, Arthur?
Just keep going.
I don't like the sound of that at the moment, but all right.
Yeah, that sounds pretty bad.
So I think that the next thing we needed to do was get back to, so after Arvain went off to speak with his boss, the Mechanicus wanted to have a large group catch up, including bringing across from the other ship, what's his name? Nothus Cranach, the head of the explorator fleet.
You mean Magos Commodore Tranic?
Yes.
Yeah.
He is aboard the other ship.
Great.
And he wants to meet up.
Yes.
Because there's nothing that says. I like how James described this as a small force, right? But it has enough to easily wipe us all out and scour the asteroid field of all life. And now we're letting them bring even more ships. I feel like these negotiations have not been secured.
No. I mean, there 6 ships at R2 plus a space station with guns.
Yeah. Listen.
There's no ship that can match the Interceptor for speed, however.
If they put us together in the same room, I think we'll come out on top.
Well, yeah, I'm just going to flatten everybody to the ceiling, but either that or summon a daemon, one of the two.
The key play would be to send...
Why can't you have both?
Yeah, why not, James?
We just need to send our Psyker in, have him do a push, explode on demand issue. Cause a warp rift, suck them all in, probably us in the meantime, but our issue's done. Don't have to worry about it. Best case scenario, it just summons in a greater demon. It's okay.
You're wrong.
All right, I got a first scene for you, James.
Okay.
It's Androchiron. He's just puttering around. He's doing the John Travolta Pulp Fiction, like. And then he blinks as he sees Dawn, and he's filtering through both his new cybernetic eyes and warp sense at the same time.
I meant to ask you this question. So his cyber eyes, like, have you gone for just trying to be replicas of real eyes, or have you actually gone for something that's
no, they're 100% obviously cybernetic. I'm not trying to pretend it.
I must have missed this part. When did you get cyber eyes?
At the end of that, you weren't here. I had Androchiron get 3D printed cybernetic eyes. So he looks upon Dawn, and his rarely used tear ducts begin crying as he's looking at her in both real and warp vision at once.
So let me get this straight. You literally saw the God Emperor. He burned out your retinas, and you decided to fix that?
Yeah. I was having trouble seeing on this ship.
But you
sorry, he puts his hands up to his eyes. He says, I can just remove them if you want to order me to do that. Great saint, living saint. If you believe that this is heresy, I will take them out immediately. He's down on his knees as well. He's I'm so sorry if this has offended you.
When you get like laptop cameras with a little slide across privacy screen, you need that. So when there's no blank screen, he has it closed, but when there's a blank screen, he opens it up.
Okay. All right. What was it that you were going to say?
Oh, nothing. What, did you want me to remove these? He's still crying while this is happening, but he's also bowing down on his.
On one, why do you need them exactly? I thought your vision was fine.
I can't see when the filthy rats that inhabit this ship walk near me, and I suspect that as we continue to adventure, we know that there are threads of fate and destiny that are being manipulated around us. If we are cast into the warp, if an agent of the changer of fates so commands it, I could be blinded again in my sense of warp. And I thought it would be wise to have some utility of vision.
Are you familiar with the act of... Oh, sorry. My brain at 2 a.m. is just not working right now, fellas. The idea that you would put yourself through intentional hardship is something that I personally view as a way for mankind to get closer to the God Emperor. The hardships that we intentionally push ourselves through make us grow as individuals and become better men. But if you feel like you need to lean on vision as a crux, I won't deny that of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Such a passive-aggressive priest.
I apologize for disappointing you.
No, the disappointment is only on yourself. I have no thoughts about it either way.
You're right. I am disappointed in myself.
But hey, at least you can look at the shit on the floor.
I can read books again.
Surely you can read Braille.
When would I have had time to learn that?
Pretty sure at some point you've had orders in your hand in this show that are in Braille, and you've said so.
That does sound right.
Also, mechanically, Astropaths are treated as being sighted for the purpose. Like they can still read, as using their mind's eye to read.
Okay. All right.
But I'm pretty sure at some point you've had a scene with Braille.
You can appreciate flowing script now. It's like
yeah.
No one dots their I's like famous Warhammer 40K author.
All right, James, I primed the pump for you. I got us there.
Okay, no worries.
Made it as awkward as possible, which is my MO.
I love the idea that, whenever he sees Dawn, he's just like, oh shit, hang on.
Look, he just needs to turn the receptors up way too high, so he's in constant pain from too much light coming into his nerve. He's always too bright.
You don't understand, sister. It's a new way of self-flagellation.
Yeah.
I literally burn my retinas out on
a daily basis.
On a daily basis.
It's okay. These subjects have glaucoma. So a message has arrived for Pierre, inviting Pierre and his senior crew and any guards he needs to come to the Eternity Bell and meet with Magus Commodore Tranich. Safety is guaranteed.
Right.
Oh, great.
I mean, if I had Nero,
and I will come wearing only my nightgown.
I think really only other person besides, the typical senior staff would be Ivy as translator or I guess data passer if need be.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably presume he could also talk common, but at least it will stop the other tech priests from having quiet binary conversations around you if you've got your own tech priest there to pick it up.
Yeah.
I understand
we
binary.
know
they don't know that.
Okay.
But you don't do the new spheric stuff, which Ivy can do.
I'm sorry, I don't have that capability.
Just saying.
Hasn't replaced everything cybernetic about him.
I mean,
So you've
I'm
removed
assuming-
James's chance to do a scene where he does that. You know, the evil guys laugh at the heroes in a different language.
Well, just to be clear, so Androchiron has polyglot. He doesn't speak binary. He can hear it and figure out what's actually being said. So he hears Modin speak and goes, "Oh, I'm pretty sure they're about to attack us."
Meanwhile,
visually about to act.
Yes. Meanwhile, they've all drawn weapons and are about to shoot us.
I don't wish to alarm you, but we'll talk about them in ship camp. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So the invitation has been made. The ball was in your court.
Are they sending a shuttle, or are we?
No, they'll let you. I mean, unless you ask them to, but they've assumed that you've got your own transportation.
I would just take our transportation. As much as I don't see much reason to get guards with us, because I don't know how much useful guards would be in a scenario where we're already in a ship of potentially bad enemies.
Yeah.
So yeah. I can't think of anything else other than taking Ivy with us as a other potential mediator.
Okay, no problem. So the five of you mount up the Lucky 13. It's Lucky 13 or Lucky 13 was destroyed. It's a new one.
So no, it's still technically Lucky 13. It's been repaired and refinished.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, you head across. So look, the Eternity Bell, is identical from the outside to the Eternal Praetorian. Same design. It's clearly even come from the same the same shipyards, and it gets even more so when you get inside. When you land on the landing bay, it's like every standard crenellation, every command structure, it's all identical to how the Eternal Praetorian is laid out. And once you come off the gun cutter, Tranich, who is probably now nearly 2 times the size of a normal man, just from the sheer amount of cybernetics. So he has multiple cybernetic limbs, like both arms and both legs have been replaced, and he has additional arms and additional legs that have also been attached as well. So he's sort of got this centauroid body of it's more like the lower half of his body is almost like centipede-like, more like chittering limbs rather than conventional human limbs. And he's sort of like his torso then comes up to a much higher shape with multiple arms. So like 2 main sets of arms, and then like lots of little sort of smaller manipulator arms, plus the mechanendrites on his back. No obvious weapons that you can see. Although he carries like the pretty typical Omnisarian axe, but as you all know, it's a tool, not a weapon. The fact that it's got a giant power edge is, just part of its tool use. And then he's also surrounded by some Skitarii and Sakaran soldiers that sort of part and allow. It's not so much a threat of force or a show of force. It's really just his standard entourage. They do their best not to sort of stand in an intimidating way, exactly the same way that emotionless machines can. When he talks, he's got those sort of megaphone type speakers, like one of those on his shoulder, and his voice is being broadcast from that. So imagine like Stephen Hawking's voice being spoken through a high school megaphone at a sports carnival.
He has a lot of green participation ribbons on him.
Welcome to the Eternal Praetorian, to the Eternity Bell. And one of the arms extends itself out to shake hands, although it sort of ends in a little sort of clawed appendage.
Does it like it spread out like that, and everyone gets like a little finger to shake? You know?
It's more like not clamping pliers. What do you call it? Like a shifting spanner? So it's got like it's like it slowly wheels out to create like something you can put your hand into to shake, and then it slowly wheels back in again. So.
It's like Pierre takes a moment to figure out. It's like, do I use my right hand or my left hand for this? I can't. It just eventually just uses his right hand to shake it.
Please follow me and do not stray.
Of course.
Yeah. So the layout of the ship is identical to the Eternal Praetorian as well, insofar as it's deliberately obtuse. You might recall the Eternal Praetorian it's not laid out in any sort of sensible way. It's almost geometric in its design. And this ship, and like you recognize all the same twists and turns. It follows the same design, the sign language as the Eternal Praetorian. So you know where you're going before you get there, because he's taking you to like the main sensorium / briefing room basically. So Arvane is waiting there as well, along with some other tech priests, clearly probably the captains of the frigates. And Tranach goes through and to introduce each one to you. They're mostly designations. Although probably, I'd say in this particular fleet, more of them have more conventional names than have designations. So there is a bit more personality to this room than you would normally expect in a convocation of tech priests. But presumably you all introduce yourselves.
That's true. Yeah. Instead of introducing myself, James, I'm just going to go ahead and run a little mind scan on our main guy right there.
Yeah.
All right. Give me your roll.
Let's see here. I want to make sure I'm using the right power. Mind probe will let me read the one I only really care about him right now. So. All right, I'm going to do it fettered so that I don't... What did I do last time?
Unfettered.
I lowered my toughness because I got chronologically incontinent. Yeah, let's not do that again.
Time.
So... I also don't want to invoke directly in front of them. It feels like if I do that, they'll see right through it. Like, hey,
you mean like casting guidance on yourself in 5e in front of everybody?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, look, a lot of people just say I cast guidance, but that's not how the spell works. Guidance is supposed to be like blessings of Sarenrae upon you.
That's what
That's what it's supposed to be, but Critical Role has given people the idea that guidance is just you say, guidance.
No, it's worse in my group. It's like, okay, guys, make a protection roll. I cast guidance. It's a reflexive action, dickhead.
That was my joke, yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, okay. Come at me. Willpower.
Yeah. On Tranach.
This is when you find out that he has 100 willpower.
Mm-hmm.
For no reason.
Okay, he would still need to roll really low to beat me. Okay. Do you want to... let me ask you this, James. Do you want to just keep rolling against each other until I fail, and then we'll figure out what I can get from there?
Well, before we do that, so what do you get from the first failure? Is you get
name, mood, insanity level, and state of physical health.
Okay, so his name is definitely made as Commodore notes as Tranach. His insanity is probably quite. He's probably got like between 15 and 20. Okay. So it's just, not all there, but also not completely gone. His physical health is. It's probably hard to tell because he's got like 4 ranks of machine trait. So probably like he's got lots of little bits of health. Like he's got a healthy liver, for example, or a healthy spleen. But the rest of him, you don't detect a heartbeat, for example.
I mean, I'm just checking his self-diagnostic subroutines, right? Yeah. When I'm reading his mind, if they come across all green, no.
Yeah. But after this first round of reading him, like in the room, like a yellow strobe light starts to spin. And like all the tech priests look at it, and then they sort of look at you. They look at Androchiron. Are you keeping the power going?
Yep.
Okay.
No one said anything yet.
Okay. Only been around.
That's not as good. It doesn't matter.
You know what? Actually, at this point, he will spend a fate point to re-roll that one.
Ooh.
Ooh, la-di-da.
Oh my god, doesn't get to use it later.
Oh my god. Okay.
We find out he has 5 fate
Oh my
points.
god.
Yeah.
I can't see anything with this black version.
Yeah,
Yeah, turn
you
it
gotta
off.
turn
Turn it
it
off.
off.
Yeah. What does the second one do?
Uppermost thoughts, immediate fears, concerns, lying, and his corruption level.
Okay, no worries. So he has no corruption whatsoever. His immediate thoughts are that their psyker is using psychic powers, that they have psycho-sensitive crystals built into the walls of the room to detect the use of psychic power, not to prevent, but to detect. And he's like trying to calculate right now: should he just command his guys to start shooting, or should he tell Pierre to tell?
Nothing visibly
you
has
to stop?
happened though, right? Like I'm not killing everyone in the room.
No, that's fine. No, but and that's so. This is factoring into the equation. In fact, this is just one of the various things that factor into his equation as to whether just to start blasting, or to discuss this like gentlemen.
So it's technically been like 20 seconds now. Is anyone doing anything about these alarms and the fact that I'm just like,
yeah? So he'll say to you, "Do you always have your psyker use powers in these sorts of meetings?"
No, I don't even know he uses them half the time. Is that what your alarms are going off the strobes
Yes.
for?
Make him stop.
Andrew, if you could stop, please.
Do you stop? Or do you go for one more? That was like 10 seconds. That was like 10 seconds of dialogue.
yeah, let's do
Push
it.
it.
Let's do
Push
the
it
last
for
one.
3.
Push it.
Okay. All
Why
right.
not?
This is how we die.
Well, if he turns into a demon, I'll handle it. Don't worry about it.
It's just not demons. That's just getting shot at.
Yeah, it's getting eviscerated by.
Androchiron gets eviscerated, and Dawn just stands there and goes, "Yep."
Essentially, we're turning into a Star Wars campaign where
I
third
can
round?
sort through his memories over the last 12 hours and any secrets he's keeping, like simple passwords or recent experiences he wishes to hide. So, anything interesting you want to tell me, and or the obvious fact, like, is he planning to betray us here? Is this the red wedding? Like,
So he's not planning to betray you. He did come here anticipating that there could be conflict, because he got the message from the faith in fact indicated that that they'd basically been attacked. So he did come into conflict, but because Arvane came in and basically said we should deal on this, he's okay with that. But you also get the picture he doesn't trust Arvane. He doesn't like Arvane. Arvane's part of his group, but he doesn't trust the man.
that's good. I don't trust him either.
Yeah, he is willing to hear out the conversation. He's willing to have a conversation here, and like Arvane said, if there is a way to avoid conflict, he'd rather seek that. And he has come. Sorry,
I was going to say, let me say this. I want to just make like a template copy of this 12 hours of data, and anything that could be used to help us negotiate, like his strategies or something, if you feel like it could be relevant. Now, of course, all of this is going to be, it's a copy of data, but he could change his strategies from here on out, knowing that I might know what he knows. But if something relevant pops up, I want to be able to tell the captain. So I'm just going to lean into the captain and whisper, very briefly what I know. He has no corruption about him, but he has gone insane slightly, as much as any have. He has come here prepared for conflict, and he doesn't like that guy we just talked to several hours ago.
Arvane's in the room.
Yeah. Well, I'm speaking quietly to Pierre.
No, that's fine. Yeah. No, I'm just saying.
Listen, I'm warm tugging, okay?
Yeah.
My lord. We cannot trust Gandalf the Grey, I say, looking directly at Arvane.
Are you like this kind of as well?
Dude, I'm always like that, okay?
yeah, he's got a little IV
especially
he's going around too, probably. So. He's probably got an IV specifically because
and I use my force staff as a walking cane. So yeah, I just we should take the wizard's staff.
especially since he lost his 5 points of toughness.
Yeah.
So I'll end my power at that point and then step back and pretend I didn't do anything wrong.
All right, that's
My
right.
apologies. You must not like getting your mind probed. That's weird for me.
You act like these guys aren't, scanning our biometric heart signatures and
Right.
downloading
That's right,
data and
That's right.
checking our blood pressure.
I know you're lying because your diaphoresis rate has increased by 3%.
Yeah, exactly. They want to talk shit about psychers, but
Yeah.
They're already collecting our pee sample somehow. So yeah.
Thank you. So I am told then that you have found a constructor machine on this, what's left of this planet,
Yes.
and
That's
that you will
precisely.
be willing to discuss terms for mutual benefit.
Absolutely. I don't want as much conflict as you want as much conflict. Obviously, there has been a little bit of scuffle that was an accident. And do apologize for that. But yes, I do possess what you've probably been seeking this whole time.
I would like to make certain things clear. I do not intend to take what you have, but I would like to learn from it. And I do believe that out of everyone within many years travel from this place, I am the most qualified to operate it. I don't believe that it could easily be removed from its current housing without significant disruption to the sacred technology that it represents.
Absolutely.
So I will tell you what I want. I will tell you what I will offer. You must tell me if you seek something different. I will bring my fleet to this world, for this is what I have been looking for in the Expanse. We will operate and study the device. We will produce whatever it is you feel is required for the further improvement of this Expanse within the limitations of the data we have access to and the templates we already know. We simply seek to operate and understand this sacred device. If the General Mechanicus is brought into this, no doubt this device will be taken from your hands and beyond the reach of mine. And this is not what we seek. In exchange, I wish to use the resources that I have to elevate you as much as possible, to give you full authority over this world, this device, this entire region. There are stories on Terra among the High Lords that the time nears for a crusade into the Koronus Expanse to claim it as part of the Imperium. Any crusade would be led by a Lord Solar, and such Lord Solar would invariably end up as the sector governor after any such claim. You are a military man, I understand, an officer of the Scintillan Fusiliers. Through my influence, you could be named Lord Solar and lead the forces that will pacify this expanse in its entirety.
I'm going to
This
lean
expanse and
into
everything in it would be yours.
I'm going to lean into Pierre and just go, this is a distraction. Another spinning of fate to keep us from Jaegar Cool, Selene Morn, and what we need to finish the pattern, the guide, and the talisman.
I agree with the Psyker, Lord Commodore.
Yes.
Don't forget about Bellwing.
I do?
Yes, yes.
So Androchiron doesn't know anything about Talon Baywing.
Correct.
So my understanding is that you wish to keep this a secret as well, so that way you can study it personally and operate it what way you'd like.
Androchiron
as
is
soon
just
as
writing
the-
down like port fees, feeding the ship's populace, taxes, roaming charges.
In exchange, that you are able to study this and keep it a secret as long as possible, because inevitably the information about this finding will get out one way or the other.
You also have a ship that you are looking to repair and refit.
Yes,
the Heart of Majesty.
Yes.
We have the templates required to produce the damaged components from this constructor. We could restore that ship to operation within 3 solar months.
That sounds wonderful.
He's just really trying really hard right here. This puppet master and bullshit.
Well, so here's the thing though, is like none of the terms offered here require us to stay.
Yeah, that's
I mean, even getting named Lord Solo would probably take years to happen.
Yeah. So it's like from what I've been hearing, nothing is requiring me to stay here because we already have someone managing the sector, obviously. Plus, we have a scientist that we're dropping off here too, because.
Yeah. Well, how about you need to make some terms about securing your local governor, who may have killed thousands of Skitari and tech priests, and maybe when you leave, this guy's going to be like, well, that guy's a criminal. Let's fucking execute him. No, you don't think so? I feel like they probably don't like this guy very much, and they know who he is.
It's understandable. I can't hate him for it. Was there any issue of the governor staying in the position he is?
No issue.
Very well.
James, everything he said has been within his reestablished. Okay.
Yeah.
As far as these deals go, it sounds perfectly fine with me. I don't have to stay here for much longer than I have to. And you can have full access to the... I keep forgetting the name of it.
Constructor.
STC.
The constructor. I keep wanting to call it a 3D printer, but...
It is one.
It is one, but it's not what it's called.
Then we are agreed.
I would say we agreed.
There's some loophole here, James.
Obviously.
We speed ran these negotiations.
His little hand comes out and shakes again. As it starts to like open up, it gets momentarily stuck, and he has to like a mechadendrite comes over and applies oil to it, and then it like closes and reopens again, ready to shake your hand.
I look around for the cowardly lion.
This is how I get my mechanical hand that's been in the art since the beginning.
Just crushes your fingers.
it accidentally clamps shut and it gets. Yeah, I'll extend the handshake. Yes. And again, this deal is perfectly fine. You get to avoid conflict. It's beneficial to me.
Well, then these negotiations are done.
Indeed.
Yep. Someone will escort you back to your shuttle.
I think we can find our shuttle ourselves, to be honest. But if you wish to escort us, that'd be fine.
Yes. This vessel is dangerous to traverse unattended.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they also don't want us wandering off.
That's
All right. You're escorted back. Androchiron, you pick up as well, like your psychic sense picks up that they've already got their Astropath sending out a communication to the rest of their fleet to come here now because they found what they're looking for.
Yeah, but how do their astropathic messages sound, right? Like,
well, they still have regular astropaths.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Like, but are the astropaths like
in binary?
How are the messages composed? Is it like poetry? Are they rapping? Are they just like screaming in agony? Come here!
Actually, it's probably like code is what they have to actually send. Right. So It's like
I'm very unimpressed.
Yeah,
you know?
if not here, then go to here.
You have to develop a style, really.
Yeah. All right, you return to the Hand, and they start bringing their ships they've got now closer, so they can start like landing people onto the planet.
Yep. They'll have to make sure I have a note sent to the governor saying, "Hey, it's a situation.
Yeah. Please don't kill any more tech priests.
Please do not cause.
Don't blow up any more ships.
Port these. That's all I'm saying.
Well, they also send shuttles over to the Faith in Fact to begin, repairing it as well.
We set up noospheric repeaters on planet, but we charge roaming data while they're there.
No. So it's free for like low bandwidth, but if you need high bandwidth, you got to pay for it.
We wanted to open 5G, but we were worried that would cause a gene stealer infection. So,
oh, Jesus Christ!
It's always gene stealers, man.
Yeah.
Captain, I apologize. I was out of turn there. I instinctively reached out to read his mind. I will accept any punishment you give to a sniveling worm like myself who acts without orders.
You should hold his eyes for like 5 to 10 days.
Androchiron reaches to remove his eyes.
I mean, if I'm doing that, I might as well put a null next to him. That'd really make him suffer.
It would be suffering, yes.
Really, I could just put a null next to him. He can keep his eyes. He would just have to sit next to a null for an extended period of time.
Androchiron does the glint nod and then goes to find the nearest
The nearest null. Hey, you have to stay with me.
No, it goes more like this. I found him. You have to follow me for the next 5 to 10 days. Where are you?
Androchiron,
He's just like looking around.
I mean, you can keep your eyes. That's no problem. It's being next to the null is hardable enough.
Okay. Is there anything else you need to do on Regina 4, or are you prepared to go and meet with your other ships, link up with the rest of your fleet?
Oh, I thought we were going to divert to go pick up our melon on Benko Scourge's Exile World.
That's quite far out.
Yes, I know it is, but that was the next thing on my list.
Yep.
We're going there after we connect to the thing because
sure.
Our melon is on the way to where we're wanting to go, right?
To where you mean Slenmorn.
Yeah. It's just the Eternal Praetorian's on the way to getting to our melon, which is on the way to where we're going.
Sure.
For once, we have like a straight line that we're going through instead of making
tell
loops
yourself
around.
that, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we get like one last sweeping shot of like the Hand of Calixis jumping to the warp as like dozens of other Mechanicus vessels start arriving to come to Regina 4.
Now, is the music hopeful or ominous? Right?
Definitely. There's never been a single hopeful track in this entire series.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's a dubstep version of whatever version.
Yeah, maybe it's hopefully ominous.
There's like a violin in there just to cheer things up.
So it's a happy song played at a minor key. So
it's the Friends song in the minor key. Okay.
I'm just imagining that in the minor key now. That sounds very ominous.
You don't have to imagine it. Someone did it, and it's fucking sick as hell.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta look.
It's like the Imperial March played in the major key.
Yeah.
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 No, that one's bad. It's not good.
It just sounds like jizz at that point, right?
Don't knock his music. Okay.
Smooth sounds of jizz.
Somehow sounds worse coming from Dave. I don't know. Maybe the fact that I know he works in old games, that just the joke goes one step too far.
2 words: fluid dynamics.
We don't use
it that it could
be anymore.
Is it that it can be taken seriously? Is that why? That'd be the only reason why.
Dave just looks at the screen. He's like,
USP.
the new thing now is tessellations. We're going back to 2009.
Let me sell you on vain technology, boys.
Sounds worse than fluid dynamic.
Pondo, do me a favor and roll me 2d100.
Oh, absolutely. I'll love to fail this or flub this up
We
perfectly.
go backwards in time. We redo everything we just did.
1714. That does not sound good.
Wow, okay. Yeah, you get incursion or incursion.
Fantastic.
Okay.
I guess we'll go with the incursion.
Yeah, I had a game written today, but maybe it's about to get derailed. Oh, is this the one that's obvious right away? Let me just sort of check. This might be one of the ones that's.
Oh, is it a giant demon priest? Come say hi.
Oh,
Giving out
okay.
free hugs?
No. So this is the one where. Okay, so at some point on the warp journey to the to where you're meeting the Praetorian and the Gilded Throne. Yeah, there's like a momentary flicker of the Gellerfield, but the Master of Augurs, Master of Etherics, informs you that it was momentary and there's no further issues.
There's always issues. That's you tell me Gellerfield is flickered and that causes problems.
Yeah, I only for an eighth of a second.
Very
now
well.
we're here is 7 days, or 7 years back on Earth.
That'd be something.
Shall we have a message passed to the bosun? Let them know to
Keep an eye out.
alert patrols, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Okay. They will up the level of actually someone come and give me a screw skill roll. It's a skill of 40, isn't it?
I gotcha.
It would be, yes.
Yeah.
What skill, sorry?
It's just Arthur's rolling for the skill, for the crew skill.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Mhm.
All right.
Big failure.
Yeah. No, okay. So look, for the rest of the journey, Sargon is on high alert, but nothing seems to be untoward about the ship right now.
Oh, it's probably fine then.
Yeah. Okay. This will all come back to bite in the future.
Yeah, definitely won't have a demon show up in the middle of an important battle in the future. No worries.
It's right in the middle of a space battle.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would see the demon, right? Like it'd be super obvious to me in my warp sense. If I walk past somebody and I'm just like, yep, that dude's possessed by a demon.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
You have to take your eyeballs out
Yeah.
and like wipe them and put them back in and like do a double take, you know? Like,
Yeah.
See, this would be.
I mean, you probably would have seen them while you're being escorted around by a knoll.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
only for the first 5 to 10 days.
That's right. Yeah. The journey generally it takes like 7 days.
Okay, all right. So throughout the journey, every 3 days, Androchiron invites Adrian to lunch, casual business
Okay.
lunch,
Sure.
to
Yeah.
discuss affairs about the ship.
Mhm.
That's it. So I just want to. Androchiron is trying to be Adrian's friend because he doesn't think Adrian has any friends.
Okay.
Adrian threw himself through a door in space without any expectation of returning, right? You don't do that if you have something to live for.
I don't know. He got his ex-girlfriend back. He feels pretty good. He's happy to jump in.
But she's gone again. Right? I don't know. Wait,
No,
she's on the
the
ship.
one that's
Never
on the
mind.
ship.
She's the XO.
All right,
Yeah,
I forgot
she's the
about
XO.
that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Adrian accepts because he thinks Androchiron doesn't have any friends, and that this dude is super depressed.
It's like a pity party for both of you.
Yeah. Except for we're secretly pitying the other person who is.
Androchiron does not make it secret.
Yeah.
Listen, he doesn't need friends. If he needs someone to talk to, he can just read everyone's mind around him.
Oh my God. He he doesn't see how
I mean, he spent his whole life invasively reading the mail of everyone who's ever sent a message through him, right? So he feels like he knows everybody really well.
It's one of those things where, like,
oh my god,
have those. If you have a good relationship with your coworker, and you'll say things like, "Oh, how are the renovations going?" You know, or "How'd your kid's recital go?" But like they never told you about it.
Yeah, that's exactly how it's like. But he's a smart guy. He knows better than to say that to people, but he just like watches over people and tries to like make sure minorly that their problems are solved, to push in the right direction. He's bad at talking to people, but he wants to make sure that the crew is okay because Androchiron considers himself a part of the ship. And the ship wants to make sure that everybody's good.
That's it. Part of the ship, part of the crew.
Yeah. That's Androchiron. I mean, he was literally a pile of, human flesh laying on a floor hooked up to a astral projector. So
so we're saying, I see there's a message in the chat. How do you? I think I've lost Pathfinder's context there.
I don't know either.
Yeah, okay. It's okay. So I think he's talking about why did Adrian step through the doorway? Did he do it for the Emperor?
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
I mean, the answer is always yes.
Okay. So
you know what, James?
Characters
you know
in
what?
Tabletop role-playing game.
The instant that Androchiron has access to powers again, he's going to try to read Adrian and see what happened during the time that he was gone. Because I've forgotten I can do this, but now I want to do it and see just what happened through that doorway.
Okay, no worries. So we'll do that now before we do the next part. So give me your invocation roll first.
Yeah. Okay. My site rating is now 8.
No worries.
Do
better?
this better. All right, I think I've been doing this wrong, by the way. But anyway, here we go. Okay. So now, from here on, I think I've been doing this wrong. From here on out, when I roll willpower, I roll it with a plus 35 for the 7 degrees of success.
On the invocation or on the...
For the power, because I maintain the
okay.
power using willpower as a focus power. Right. I think, right? I get my degrees of success as a bonus to my willpower. Am I wrong about this?
Normally that's the caster's thing in the first place. Then it's because see how it says whether it's the actual manifestation roll is the...
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure I can beat him in opposed willpower anyway.
Yeah,
somewhat regularly.
So Spoon, give me a willpower test at plus 60.
Okay.
Oh, do you have resistance?
+60?
Do you have resistance to psychic techniques as well or not?
I do not believe so.
Okay.
He's eating silver side, so
Still.
Why the plus 60?
Did you want a fate point that, Spoon, to get up an extra degree of success?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Can I also fate point it to exceed his degree of success again?
So I'll tell you what you get when you try to do this. So you remember like the Doctor Strange thing of I saw a million different things. So it's like
14,065,000.
Yeah, that's it. So you get, when you try to read him, like billions of possible things that happened, and you cannot ascertain which one. Like it's an overload of data. It's like you've looked at like this nexus point in time where you're seeing every possible deviation from stepping forward from that point in time, and it's like a fractal of events. What I can tell you is that there's a figure that you pull out that he definitely interacted with. That give me a sec, let me get my notes here because I'm going to go back to my Spoon notes, which weren't open, so I wasn't expecting you to do this.
Feels like you guys had a private session without the rest of us.
we had a conversation on
Discord.
Yeah.
Then they had a private session.
Yeah. This is how parties are destroyed. Secret conversations with the game master. But what do I know? My players show up in BattleTech and they're just like, look at the secret plot I've been working on for the last 8 weeks.
Yeah,
and I'll just be like, I don't know any of the rules for this.
Yeah.
You just told me something I could have prepared.
Yeah. So you see Adrian talking to himself, to a different version of himself, and a Harlequin Shadow Seer.
Okay. Now I've probably read reports about this Harlequin before, right? It's the one that keeps showing up.
Not a Shadow Seer.
Oh. All right, I'm snitching on Adrian 100% immediately.
And it's like, because you're sort of like, it's one of those things, like imagine like watching footage from a camera, and at the moment you're watching it, somebody on the camera turns or looks at the camera, and you feel like they're looking at you watching the camera, even though it's pre-recorded footage. So it's like that, where you sort of...
It's the ring. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So you're viewing this scene, and like the Shadow Seer turns and looks at you
through the camera,
and you see like your own face reflected in her mirror mask.
Okay.
And it's sort of that sort of shock throws you out of the out of the psychic power.
Now let me ask.
Now because you spent the fate point to beat him, though, you take no ill effects from.
Oh, great! Thanks. Awesome. Adrian that I know had no cybernetic eye, and Adrian he was talking to had the cybernetic eye. Correct.
Well, right, Adrian that you know has a cybernetic eye,
but that was after that moment, correct? You got it when you came back.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, the other Adrian you talked to, did he have a cybernetic eye?
Yes.
So I know that he talked to a future version of himself then. That's not that hard of a supposition.
No, that's right, yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm going to the captain immediately.
Okay.
I just at the lunch, I just finish eating my salad and I start power walking away. Super nerdy, like, too. Just my arms on my side.
Yeah, you get like a nosebleed first and excuse yourself and quickly walk out.
Yeah, I'll say, like, I feel like as soon as you get kicked out of the mind reading thing, like, Adrian goes, "Are you okay, Androchiron?"
Oh yes, sorry. Perhaps the after effects of the nulls as. I'm sorry, I have to go.
I have to be somewhere else right now.
I need to leave immediately.
Adrian gets up to go to the dessert bar, and he comes back and the table's empty, and he's like, what?
As I'm leaving, I'm just like, it was a very lovely lunch. We should do it again sometime. And I thank you for your concern.
Excuse me, I need a snitch.
I go to the captain's antechamber room and hit the button. And then I hit the smaller button next to it that summons Dawn.
So wait, is there 3 buttons now? One's the...
Yeah, I was just going to say, well, there's actually like 4 buttons now. One is to summon everyone, and then everyone has their own individual button.
Like Batman. There's no Androchiron. It's just the Nero button. And then you have to wait there
for 2.5 hours for everyone to assemble in the...
Man, that would be a great movie. Avengers Assemble, and it's just like, people making Colonel Rhodes on an airplane for 16 hours flying in from Mogadishu.
Papa's trying to start shooting chat.
Yeah. Because obviously none of the buttons are labeled. Like.
All right. So, Dawn and Pierre get the emergency call.
Okay.
Okay.
I explained to them, my theory of future Adrian. That Adrian has been consorting with aliens. Did anyone know about this? And is it heresy?
So, hang on. Let me just stop you real quick. So, Adrian fell into a hole in time and space.
Yes.
Which we know of.
Yes.
And then you probed his mind using magic.
Yes.
And found out that he's a time traveler.
Yes.
I turned to the captain
and consorting with aliens.
Is this really important?
I don't.
Really? You don't think this is important? He didn't tell us anything about this, and you don't think it's important?
I never said it wasn't important. I'm also trying to figure out what kind of heresy he's committed.
You mean making deals with aliens, one of the top 3 heresies?
You do
They
realize
created an
Captain
entire
here
branch
does
of
that.
the Inquisition to stop people from doing exactly that.
Yes, but I've also have dealt with aliens.
That's true. If only there was some sort of document that gave you the ability to do that.
Yes. The other thing is the time heresy that is
I'm
not
sorry,
very common.
I'm Neroing right now, not Androchironing. I'm sorry. This is non-canon. Roll it back. Yes, as you have mentioned, chronological heresy is also banned by the Inquisition.
Yes, that one. I'm not really entirely certain about because that's. I feel like that one's a money laundering scheme. That's a conversation for another time.
All right, so I'm not really familiar with all of this stuff you two are talking about, but he hasn't committed any heresy yet, right?
I mean, talking to aliens unauthorized is heresy, especially if he's making deals with them.
What aliens were they?
It was a Eldar Harlequin Shadow Seer.
Wouldn't be the first time that we had happenstance with the Harlequins.
Also, if his circumstances to be believed, he was literally trapped in the ether of the void at the time.
Well, did I sense that, James? Like,
he wasn't on. You sense it like he was entering the warp, or like no longer on this material plane.
All right, yeah, pass that along. I mean, he could be a Daemon host for all we know.
And he reappeared later on the ship.
Oh well, I'd know if he was a Daemon host, but don't nod your head, you motherfucker. You could have some Shadow Seer magic over you. Your cybernetic could be your Daemon host genie bottle.
You read my mind. Like there's I don't think there's anything that Adrian.
I guarantee you that James could pull out of his ass some sort of quote about your privacy of your thoughts belongs to the Imperium, not to yourself.
I'm sure there is some thought for the day that is of that vein.
They call him Ad Astra Telepathica, not Ad Astra. Well, okay, let's look at the Bill of Rights.
No, but that's what I'm saying is like I'm pretty sure with the amount of successes Androchiron can get is there's literally nothing that Adrian could willingly hide from him.
If he has spoken to himself in the future, he knows things that he isn't sharing.
You know everything he knows now.
I don't know very much. I was cast out of the vision by the power of the Shadow Seer. A worthy opponent, barely enough to cast me out. In the end, I still defeated them.
I'm riding this line very thinly right now, Captain, because where does it stop? Is every single crew member supposed to subject themselves to a mind probe to such a degree that you require everyone to never have had any sort of transgression whatsoever? And in that case, does it have to happen every week? Because the nature of our endeavors here in space and void, it means that we are constantly under threat of creatures willing to do harm to us. Where does it stop?
Constant threat of creatures doing harm to us is normal occurrence.
And I think to a degree, men should be judged not by what their future evil versions of themselves would potentially do, but what they've done and what they're doing currently, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, like perhaps they should be reporting that they've had contact with their future selves.
So as an aside, I don't know if Pondo the player remembers, but he and Adrian and Pierre did have a conversation about what happened in there, and Adrian told him what he could.
Yeah, that's you told me some stuff, but not all the stuff.
Right. Well, because he told you that some stuff he couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Because I don't think you mentioned anything about the
Shadow Seer.
The Shadow Seer.
Yeah,
I don't think you mentioned anything.
Remember.
I don't think you had seen the Shadow Seer. You saw yourself.
Right.
So I'm guessing the Shadow Seer was puppet, being the puppet master of. Complicated Eldar trickery. All right.
Adrian I myself have had dealings with creatures forcing themselves into my dreams, yet I have not committed any heresy willingly, nor would I consider myself to be heretical in the way that you're amounting Adrian to be. I believe that he's capable of being able to withstand such things.
Indeed. As of right now, Adrian did speak to me before about what occurred when he suddenly disappeared into that void of a locker room, then came back suddenly on our ship. He said he told me what he could. Of course, he didn't tell me about the whole seeing his future self sort of situation. But again, I don't know. I don't see much issue with it at the moment.
Can you explain Androchiron a little bit about how you perceive his mental thoughts? Are you seeing what he has determined to be the logical explanation for what he's seen? Or are you seeing it unadulterated from his memories? Like, how does this work?
I explain that I see it from third-person view.
And you know for a fact that his memories are not altered in any way due to the degradation of time and just him seeing things and remembering things differently?
I cannot say.
Well, for now, right now, it's not a major issue. He does not seem to have any sort of ill intentions at the moment. If things digress with Adrian, we can deal with it then. But at the moment, it seems to be fine.
So there's a thought for the day about complacency. When Jude showed up, overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Androchiron doesn't push it though, because he considers both of you superior to him on a galactic scale. So
the real question is going to be though: does Androchiron still do lunch with Adrian in the future?
Oh yeah, for sure.
To make friends. Okay.
Yeah. Well, now and now it's a little bit less making friends, and now it's more keeping an eye on a possible,
heretic.
Also, wouldn't by virtue of us having this conversation, Adrian already know that we're having this conversation if he's conversed with himself in the future?
The paradoxes are endless.
What's that meme? Girls with the time machine.
Ooh,
Androchiron with the time machine.
I've got a thought for the day for Androchiron.
Yeah.
From a single
Snitching.
seed of doubt can grow a world of heresy.
Okay.
Charlie Day slapping the wall with all the fucking like red string going everywhere.
Yep. Just a big Adrian in the center, just circled with.
He's not doing any of that. He's just going to keep a casual eye on Adrian and check and make sure he's
him
not
endlessly and watch him while he sleeps and
insane or corrupt. Jesus, you're taking that.
Check the salt level of his food.
Scope out his brain 24/7.
Yep.
I feel like you guys are taking this to a much darker level than where I'm at. I don't want.
You
I don't
literally
want Adrian
left
to know
mid
that I'm onto
salad.
him.
You literally left mid salad.
Yeah, but my
to
nose is
slap
bleeding.
the emergency button.
Yeah.
All right.
Listen,
we'll
give me some
come
credit for beating a psychic contest against the shadows here, okay?
You got the credit. You did it.
Yeah. We'll come back after a break, I think.
Are we actually doing a second half?
Yeah,
Dave, you
we'll
good?
do it. Yep.
All right, Dave just gave us the we're good. All right, so for the first time in 4.5 months, we will have a second part of this episode. That's not the actual amount of time. I'm exaggerating. I do that a lot. It has been a while though, so
yeah. Look, OBS only crashed once. We need to get released a second crash.
Yeah.
Fuck. Look at this smart Alec. Jeez.
I too can see the future.
We'll be back for the second half in about 8 minutes. I don't know. I can't see the future.